I lost 37 pounds with
Good evening. Welcome to Smart Trucking Live. Welcome to our monthly Q&A. Excuse me, and our truck trivia question night. How are you guys all doing out there tonight? Shannon, good to see you back. All sorts of regulars popping in here. Chris Keller, Woody Bryan, good to see you guys. How you all doing? What's new in the trucking world? Oh, got something caught in my throat here. Lots to talk about tonight. We got 5 prize giveaways, as I understand. We should have some good stuff for you. Oh, man, got something caught in my throat. Somebody asked a question about Schneider is a good starting company. It's rolled by. I've lost the name, but I think Schneider would be an excellent starter company for a new guy coming out of school.
Let's just
Chris Keller, doing good from Bakersfield. Oh, I'm losing my voice now. Precision Logistics, hello from PA. Huh, what's that about? Doug Ford met with mega carriers. Do you think they might bring more drivers from overseas, lower the wages? Well, the first good point is that Canada has no mega carriers, aside from Schneider's that's up from the States and in Guelph, and Werner too, I suppose, because they're in Milton, but Canada doesn't have its own mega carrier, so I wouldn't even call Bison a mega carrier. They're certainly the biggest one in Canada, but they're nothing compared to Swift or Schneider. Pardon me? What about Winnipeg? Good evening from Altoona, PA, JG. Hello from Iowa, Bradley Weaver. Hello, Bradley. Good evening from Chicago. Man, Chicago's going through the Black Lives Matters thing. I can't believe the mayor there of Chicago has endorsed those strikes to block the interstate. Unbelievable. Mark Miller, hello from Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Okay, let's start taking questions.
Okay, we're ready to roll. Let's grab some questions here. Is putting a 4BT Cummins in a 389 a good idea? I want to haul 80,000 pounds or more. I'm not familiar with a 4BT Cummins. What kind of horsepower and what kind of cubic inches is that motor, dog? I'm not familiar with that. I would think if you're going to haul 80,000 pounds or more these days, I'd probably go with the 565 Cummins. I don't know if that corresponds to this 4BT or not, but if you're going to go Cummins these days, 565 probably for that kind of weight or more. Greetings from Restoule, Ontario. Grilled Mortal. How are you doing? Good to hear from you up there. London, Ontario, Canada. Terry J. I hear you, Terry. Hello from Oklahoma City, G. Smith. Man.
Question here from Woody Bryan. If you're looking to learn open deck, TV, MC, and Maverick are good starters. I think maybe TMC and Top Maverick because they will train you secure equipment, which with experience could open up.
Both good carriers. Both good carriers, TMC and Maverick. I could go with either one of those two. Good choices, both. TMC does a lot of strange stuff too, like a lot of boats and stuff you wouldn't just strap to a normal flatbed. So you get a wide variety of experience there. They got beautiful trucks too, by the way.
Question on Prime?
I don't see that yet. Oh yeah. What are your thoughts on Prime? I'm a rookie driver for Prime. Love my job, but I know jack diddle about the industry with the exception of what I learned from Prime. Jordan, my advice with Prime is that you stick as a company driver with Prime. Now, Prime will bend over backwards to try to turn you into a lease operator. You do not want to do that. They just lost a huge lawsuit over that, in fact. But I understand their training is good. I understand their company driver positions are good. So yeah, I think Prime's all right as long as you stay away from trying to own a truck. You just want to drive their truck and go home at the end of the day, nothing more. Greetings from Pembroke, Ontario.
How long do you recommend staying with a starter company?
How long would you stay with a starter company? It would depend on you, really. If you get a comfortable spot with a starter company and they promise to increase your wages and give you the type of work you want, you could stay there for as long as you're comfortable. I recommend at least a year, preferably 2, because the more you learn, the better it is. And you might as well learn at one of the carriers that's not going to chastise you for bashing something up, because Swift, for instance, is so used to that they don't even hardly blink anymore. But there's been guys that have stayed at Swift for years, have gotten a good route. They're happy with the route that they run. So as long as you're happy and comfortable and you're satisfied with the pay.
Question from Motor Wars. Do you have any job recommendations? I'm from Toronto. I'm 21. I have 6 months experience driving Toronto to Vancouver.
I'd recommend Gary Mercer Trucking out of Toronto all day long. Excellent carrier. Go talk to those guys.
Solo Overland. Schneider versus Prime as a company driver. Which?
I'd probably go Schneider over Prime, but that's just my personal preference. I think Schneider takes really good care of its people. I think they have an excellent training program. I think I'd probably stay with Schneider, and they're really diversified too. They got some interesting stuff that if you get bored with one lane or one type of hauling, you can do. They've even got a tanker division now. I think that's great.
Question from Jonathan Holloway. What do you think about factoring companies?
I understand these days that factoring may be a necessary evil for some guys that they have to do, but no matter how you cut the mustard, trucking is hardly paying enough these days as it is without giving a percentage to a factoring company. I'm not in favor of it if you can possibly avoid it, but I know these days, and some guys are slow to pay, these days it may be a necessary evil depending on the situation you're in. There's an industry that never existed before that has grown out of the way trucking industry has gone. Shippers or receivers or customers used to advance you part of the pay of the load, so you never got into that situation. But now some of them are paying, 90 days. It's ridiculous.
A comment from Kelly Patterson. This is an interesting one. Dispatcher told my wife that he likes to keep, I think he means keep the drivers feeling like they're on the verge of being fired.
That's one of the dirtiest things I've ever heard. I don't even know how to respond to that. It shows you the kind of training some of these dispatchers get, and it shows you how bright they really are. And this guy probably thinks he's got a genius tactic cooked up to keep his drivers on their toes and keep them scared. If I owned the carrier that had that dispatcher and I knew that, I'd fire his butt the moment I heard it. That's, like bullying. That's the same thing as bullying. Go to whoever owns that company and tell them what your dispatcher said to your wife. I'd rat him out. That's ignorant.
Hey dog, question, is financing a new truck a good idea?
Wow. A new truck these days is so expensive. You'd want to make sure you had the right carrier and the right deal, because you're in for big term expense, long term expense. I don't know now. A truck that like mine these days, to replace it is about $200,000. So you're financing it over God knows how many years, and you'd sure want to make sure that your deal was going to last that many years. That's a risky deal.
Question in from Buddy Hawks. Now, we did a video on this topic actually not long ago, so if you look through our channel, you'd find a longer answer. But what's better pay, by the mile or percentage pay?
I recommend by the mile all day long, because at least you can confirm how many miles you're doing, and they can't cheat you on the deal. With percentage, you never truly know what the load initially paid, and it's just impossible to find out. And lots of carriers say, "Oh, it paid $3,000 when it really paid $4,000," and pocket the extra. So no, I don't like percentage pay. Now there are some carriers that are quite reputable that will use percentage pay. Can't think of the name of that flatbed outfit off the top of my head that's good that way, but for the most part, I'd avoid percentage pay. Go for mileage pay. Jordan Perez, thank you. Appreciate it. I started with Prime in March, and I got a decent guarantee. I delivered Ontario and Quebec dedicated tanker for AAK. My truck is guaranteed at least 5,500 miles a week, and I keep 71% of that. Jordan, I hope it works out for you. Can you get a 2016 Kenworth T680 right now, 70-inch bunk for around $40,000? That's, Chris, that sounds like a pretty damn good price to me. I'd go for that. They're a good truck. Now, if you can do that for that kind of money, I'd be really interested. Yeah, Terry's right. But by the mile if they're using practical miles, or better yet, hub miles. That's right. If you finance, you need to know what you're doing. Don't go in as a rookie. That's, yeah, also good advice. Very good advice, Woody. TMC is good there with percentage. Well, they've got a good reputation. I'm just leery of the concept, you know. No, TMC wasn't who I was thinking of. Oh, man, it'll come to me. I'll be all right. Tough when you get old. What's wrong with being paid by the ton? Well, I don't know who does that aside from like dump truck drivers or something like that, which is really highway work.
Roger Penske, Kathy Mack, say hi to the big strapper from Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow, Phoenix. Bet you it's a little warm down there right now. I was thinking about Arizona the other day. I forget what it was in reference to. Oh, Nikola is starting a truck building plant down in Arizona, and they're going to make cab overs. So I'm pretty excited about that. What are your thoughts on a 1,200-mile trip, 2 days? Pay is $2,500. Is that reasonable or cheap for a company guy? Are you saying 1,200 miles, $2,500? Depending on whether you own the truck or not, of course. But yeah, it's certainly good for a company guy.
Okay, now I'm going to cut in, and we're going to do a prize giveaway. So I will ask the first question. What state allows 60-foot trailers? What state allows 60-foot trailers? Throw your answer in the chat, and we've got a cool prize for someone.
There it is, Chris Keller.
Chris Keller.
California. That is the correct answer. Chris, thank you. Howdy from Tampa, Florida. Hugh Simpson. How are you, Hugh? Trucker Hershey, 60 foot. Yeah, wow. It is a little goofy when you see them. They've got like cab over phone booths pulling them around LA. And one of the companies I delivered to was using them to haul empty aerosol cans so they could get as many cans as they could, in this 60-foot trailer. And they were light, but my God, I was glad I wasn't yanking one around. But, for like a little city truck, I guess they're not too bad. But, trust California. Always got to be different. You always got to do something weird. Dave, I'm Peter Dog 389 now. Okay, Josh. You are Peter Dog 389. Trucker Hershey. Only on interstate? No, I think they can. In fact, I know they can. They run around like inner city in LA with those things. It's crazy. Chadwick, hello from Atlanta. Hello, Chadwick. Do dump truck drivers tend to work during the summertime? You bet. That's when they do most of their work. If you do think there's a decent chance I can get a dump truck job for the summer, Imran Hatim? Yeah, Imran. I think there's a really decent chance you can go drive a dump truck. In fact, that's a good way to start out running dump trucks. And it's all no-touch stuff, as you know. But yeah, dump trucks are a good way to start. And most of it pays by the hour and you're home every night. It's not a bad deal. Some of them work some long hours, though. Hello from southern Wisconsin. Hi, Alexander. Southern Wisconsin. Pretty country.
Chris Keller, congratulations on your prize this evening. You'll be receiving a back shield. It's a neat little gadget. It's basically a back support. It comes with adjustable straps on it, and you prop this up in your truck, and it's definitely going to help with your support and sitting there for long periods of time, so that your back doesn't basically feel like it's on fire after 10 hours of sitting in the truck. So you'll be receiving that. All you have to do is simply go to our website and submit us your email address, and we will be in contact with you from there. And that goes for all of the recipients to the upcoming questions as well. If you want to have your prize sent to you, make sure you go to our website at smarttrucking.com and send us your email address, and we will get in contact with you from there. But again, congratulations to Chris Keller, and we will be in contact with you when you send us your email address.
Woohoo.
Hugh Simpson, I run those 60-footers for one special customer here in Florida. Is that right? I've never seen them in Florida. I didn't even know they were legal there. What are the worst states to drive a semi-truck? Well, I hate to say it, but probably Colorado's one of the worst ones, because if you get on the wrong section of road there, you can have issues. By the way, I saw earlier Shannon mentioned to watch out for a couple of routes in Colorado, because I gather they've got a big forest fire going down there, so you've got to be careful if you're in a truck in Colorado, where it is you go and where you don't go. So be careful there in Colorado right now. Was it Highway 82, Shannon? I forget. Shannon knows, she's from out there. He's from out there. So does the rear axle still have to be 40 feet or less from the kingpin with a 60? Yes. Good question, and yes. As goofy as it sounds, yes. Not that anybody sets it there, because California DOT generally isn't roaming around LA, but yeah, it kind of looks like a teeter-totter on wheels.
What do you think about great food? What do you think about food tankers?
What do I think about food tankers for someone with their own authority? There is serious money in food tankers if you can get in with the right company. It's not a bad deal. It's there's not a lot of it. It's tough to get in, but if you can get in with the right outfit, you make serious money hauling liquid tankers with food product. Yeah, there's good money there. That's a niche. Should you chain up or wait for the snow to be gone? Mr. Canada sucks. Well, I guess it depends on your schedule, how bored you are, how fast you want to get there, and whether or not you've got a comfortable place to camp out for the night. Otherwise, I generally would only chain if I absolutely have to. Usually you were better to set it out if you could afford the time, because chaining isn't pretty, no matter how good you get at it. So I try to sit it out if at all possible. I-70 in Glenwood Canyon is burning. That's from Scott. Thank you. That's Colorado we're talking here.
Experience with Marmon trucks?
Pardon me? Any experience with Marmon trucks? I drove a Marmon a long time ago, and I had a hard time telling that from an international, one of the internationals of the same era roughly. And I always wondered if Marmon was connected to international somehow. I gather the Marmons though were hand built rather than assembly line built, and that they were a very good truck. I only ever drove one once, but to me it seemed like a well built, sturdy truck anyway. My dad drove a 57P for much of the 1990s as an owner-operator. Well, by the 1990s, a Marmon was a pretty special truck. The Chinese own Volvo and Mack now. That's from Josh, or I forget the name, Peterbilt 389. But anyway, Yeah, I did know that about Volvo. And I guess Volvo owned Mac anyway lately. Is that right? I don't follow those trucks that I don't like. I don't follow it particularly well. But yes, I had heard that the Chinese had a large percentage of Volvo now. The axle length rule in California does not apply to multiple axles of 3-port greater or to spread axle flatbed as long as the split between the axles is beyond a certain length. Roger Penske. And chained up, you can go how fast? 30? Yeah, Trucker Hersey. Yeah, you can't be racing up and down with chains on because they tend to come apart and beat the hell out of your truck. So yeah, 30 is about top speed, I would think, and for as short a period as possible. And the moment the pavement goes wet from snow, you want to take them off because you're just eating your chains unnecessarily.
Okay, we've got another trivia question.
Okay.
All right, we have another trivia question. This one is just a warm-up question. And the question is, which interstate runs above the bayou? Which interstate runs above the bayou? Okay.
Interesting piece of interstate to truck across.
Don't see any answers yet.
Every
Somebody
time.
says I-80, 12.
There it is.
There it is right there. Rick N.
Every time I went across 10 through Louisiana, I used to look for alligators, and all those years I never saw one.
The answer is Interstate 10 in Louisiana.
Yep.
Rick N.
There's a little pilot in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, down there. I used to stop at after I crossed that bridge. But it's an amazing piece of engineering. It's something like 18 miles across, with the pylons embedded in the swamp. Basically, I don't know how they managed it. An amazing piece of engineering, anyway. I-10 across Louisiana there. Shannon, wait till you come across a bear in a 2-lane. I was up in your neck of the woods years ago, Shannon, and I came across cattle in the middle of the night on a 2-lane and damn near put it in the ditch. It certainly woke me up. I think I was headed for Casper, but I had a bunch of air conditioning units on. I remember that, like big industrial air conditioning units. Those cattle sure woke me up.
Okay, I have another question. This one is also for a prize, also for a back shield. And the question is, you folks ready? Which bridge connecting Canada and the US is privately owned? Which bridge connecting Canada and the US is privately owned? Oh,
There it is. Mr. Canada sucks.
Mr. Canada sucks, the Ambassador Bridge.
It was always hard for me to believe that they would allow a private individual to own such an important transit bridge, but oh well, he did. He passed away here a few weeks ago. What do you know about autocar trucks? Not a whole lot. I drove an autocar many years ago for Trimac pulling a tanker. And it had a great big nose on it and a set-back front axle. And it rode as rough as a tank. But I know they made some beautiful trucks. The one I drove wasn't one of them.
All right, so Mr. Canada sucks. Interesting name.
Love the name.
Can't imagine why you would choose such a name, but regardless, make sure you get in contact with us on our website, smarttrucking.com. I'm gonna end up repeating myself a few times here, but just so everyone's got the message, go to our website at smarttrucking.com, send us an email, and we will get in contact with you through there. And just so you know that what you've won another one of the back supports. So congratulations on that.
Do I recommend Trimac Otr? It's been years since I worked for Trimac, serious years. But I think overall they were a pretty good company. I can't remember their equipment was in tough shape when I drove it because, well, the section I drove for was a unionized section. So to offset the pay, you were driving real junk trucks. Hopefully that's improved by now. But as a company, boy, the paycheck was always there and it was always healthy. And that's the main thing.
Ask them what they think of your new backdrop.
Yeah, I've got this new green screen backdrop. What do you guys think of that? It's Nick's pride and joy. It's supposed to be more visually appealing. I hope you agree. But getting into high-tech stuff all the time now. Do you know a good brand APU to purchase? I'd purchase Thermo King. Everybody else seems to come and go. I'd get a Thermo King. You know they're not going anywhere. You know they'll stand behind their product. That's the route I'd do. That's right. Sly Stallone drove an auto car and over the top. Don, good catch. That's right. He did. Semi trucks. What's your with disc brakes? What's your opinion about those? Anderson Nova. I think disc brakes are the way to go. I'm a fan. The last truck I drove had disc brakes. Really liked them. No, I think they're the way of the future. Yeah, Trucker Hershey disc brakes are great. Stops faster, never out of adjustment. No, I like the disc brakes. MR Conville likes the backdrop. Thank you, sir. Woody Bryan says the backdrop is slick. Thank you, Woody.
Jonathan Mestrel, thank you very much for the $5 donation. Happy to see you in the screen this evening. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. Dave, you would like to put up a Pete for a trivia question?
He means give away my Pete.
Yeah,
I don't think I could do that. You know what I did today with that thing? I had it rust proofed. I had it crown rust proofed. So we'll see if that helps the old girl out. Didn't fit into the shop. They had to do it outside.
Maybe we'll do it for the Christmas giveaway. Give away a turkey and a Peterbilt. Another one?
Chris, I've only ever driven drum. Chris, try the disc brakes if you get a chance. They're noticeably better and a lot more maintenance free.
Okay, I'm going to cut in again with another trucking trivia question. The next question is...
This will be a practice question.
Yes, sorry. This is a practice question, a warm-up question, just so you don't get too excited. What trucking company does the owner of the Ambassador Bridge own? Anyone?
That's a pretty tough question. Chris, no, it's not Swift. It's not Swift. No, not Bueller. Not Transco, not Dart. He actually owns a trucking company. Not Bison, not Werner. There it is.
Yeah, somebody got it.
Terry Rafter got it. Central Transport. That's right.
That's That's right, Terry, you're all warmed up now. Get ready for the next one.
The guy's name was Matty Maroon. Michael Thompson, thank you for the donation. Got cut off and sideswiped the same day. I'm over this week. Love the green screen. Ask my trainee how he liked his first day. Exciting first day, do you think he had? Thank you, Michael.
Okay, let's jump. Okay, let's jump into a prize question. This time it's the question is, where is the home of the 72-ounce steak? We need the name of the city and the name of the state for the right answer. Are these open book questions? Sure, go for it. Google it.
Yeah, those
we haven't. No, not yet. Eric Cummings. He got the town and the state. Eric Cummings.
You were correct, Eric. A couple guys said Amarillo, but she asked for the state as well.
The answer is the Big Texan, Amarillo, Texas. Actually, what did we ask for? We just asked for city and state. So Eric was the winner. Okay. Now, Nick, if you want to tell them what the prize is. Keep doing comments.
I know it's Texas, but I don't remember the town. SoCal Sandman, how are you doing? Good to hear from you. Yeah, it's right across the interstate from the Petro. I was a big fan of that little truck stop for the food. They used to have a live rattlesnake in a glass cage there. I don't know if they still do or not. Probably some animal cruelty group made them take it out. But has anyone ever finished that steak? Yes, all kinds of guys have finished that steak. You'd be amazed. I was in there with a friend of mine many years ago, and he finished the steak and then ordered a couple of cheeseburgers to go. And everyone was just amazed. And we got outside, he threw the cheeseburgers in the garbage can. He says, I just did that for effect. I can't eat them, he says. Then he lay in the bunk for 2 days groaning. But yeah, people have eaten it.
Tanker, hazmat.
All right, Eric Cummings, congratulations on getting that question correct. Let me tell you a little bit of what you've won here. So basically, it's a 12-volt glove dryer, and it's the greatest little contraption. It plugs into your cigarette lighter, and it sticks up to your dashboard pretty easily, from what I understand. It has a magnet on it. It has a hook on it, and I believe it has adhesive, so you can stick it somewhere too. And basically, what it will do, it will dry your gloves over the span of, I think it takes. Somewhere I read it earlier here, it was about an hour or so, and it will completely dry off. Anyways, so to get in contact with us, make sure you leave us your email on our website at smarttrucking.com. Be sure to get in contact with us that way. And again, congratulations, Eric Cummings.
Those glove dryers are going to be an amazing thing for flatbed guys or anybody that's got to work outside in the wintertime. I was doing flatbed work last couple winters, and I'd go 5 pair of gloves a day, just strapping down. I think those are going to be a great device, great invention. Used to be a bear in a cage in Berks Falls. Did you know about that, Kathy?
Yep, and there was also one on the way to Orillia.
Is that right? I didn't know that. Yeah, Scott, I'm with you. I could have eaten the steak. I just couldn't eat all the sides that come with it. Yeah, I'm the same. I could have done the 72-ounce steak. It's the rest of the stuff that would have stopped me. I used a microwave to dry my gloves out. Gee, Friday. Kind of smart, as long as you don't light your truck up on fire and burn your gloves out. I'm off to Trois Rivières. Y'all have a good night. Keep on trucking. Good night, Jordan. Take care. Be safe. Woody Bryan mentions the tiger in the cage, and that's in Louisiana. And I read recently that they're not going to allow that guy to do that anymore. The tiger's leaving. That was a case of animal cruelty, they felt. But that was a big drawing point for years at that truck stop in Louisiana was the tiger.
G. Smith, sorry. Thank you very much for the $5 donation. Hope you're enjoying the stream this evening. He says, thanks for taking the time to share your knowledge, the both of you, Kat and Dave. Very educational and needed.
Well, thank you for saying so. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Glad you could be here.
If your license has expired, do you have to take the entire test over? I believe you do. I believe that's generally the rule in just about every state and province. Yes. Can you not read my post? The Big Texan in Amarillo, Texas. I've been there a gazillion times. I see it, Roger. You just weren't the first guy, but yeah, you're right. And yeah, I've been there a zillion times too. Love it every time. Great food there. And truck parking. Not the greatest truck parking, but it's got truck parking, so I like that.
Okay, we're going to jump in with another prize. The next prize is also another 12-volt glove dryer. So ready for this one? This one is a little bit of a different nature question. And the question is, what is Dave's favorite trucking song? Now, he has mentioned this in a couple of videos. So if you watch our videos, you'll know what the song is. Dave's favorite trucking song.
That's kind of a tough question.
Ready? Freightliner Fever.
No, not Convoy.
Bradley Weber. 6 days on the road.
Bradley got it. That's right.
Now you have to sing a few bars.
No, I'm not. I'm not
Oh,
singing
no,
a few
don't be
bars,
bold,
but great trucking
Get
song.
that bottle of orange soda and you'll sing. Weber?
Lots of good songs there. Jonathan, In the Air Tonight. That is a good song. I like that song.
So Bradley, congratulations on getting that one right. I'm sure you know the drill by now, but make sure you leave us your email on our website, smarttrucking.com, and we will get that out to you as soon as possible. And once again, thank you for being here this evening and participating in our trivia.
SoCal Sandman says, come on, Dave, sing. If I sang, I'd have a record contract tomorrow, and then I'd have to leave the website business. You guys would miss me, and Kathy wouldn't know what to do, and Nick wouldn't know what to do. So I better stick with this. Nobody would give me a record contract. Believe me. Dave, you don't like chaining up and you won't sing. I know, hard to get along with, eh, Shannon? I don't know what to say. Maybe it's an off night for me. I didn't mind chaining up, but every time I chained up, I got soaked. That was the worst part of it. I didn't mind hooking up the chains, but you always have to lie underneath the truck, or at least I did, and I always got soaked. I hated that.
Jonathan Mestrel, thank you once again for the $5 donation. He says he today he prematurely pulled a hose out of the tank, heard the click, didn't check, and now he smells like lovely diesel. So does that mean he gets a greenhorn sticker?
No, Jonathan, that just means you're human. Thank you for the donation, by the way.
Alexandra Poyser, thank you for the $5 dono. Clearly, Dave's favorite song is by Slayer. Can't y'all tell? Dave, I know you're a little bit unfamiliar with what kind of music Slayer is, but if you've heard of Slipknot, it's kind of similar, kind of just a little bit more old-fashioned. So it's basically death metal, and he does have a few albums of that.
It's what kind of metal?
Death metal.
Death metal.
No, not death metal. Death metal.
Yeah, right up my alley.
Oftentimes you'll see Dave cruising through his local area actually blasting this on his car speakers, so not an uncommon sight to see around town.
Oh, brother. It's getting deep in here now.
Dave and Slayer, I can't see that.
What me either. What states do trucking jobs pay the most? That's an interesting question. Probably the states with the highest cost of living because they'd have to. So I'm going to say California, New York State, places like that, Florida. Is PACCAR American? Yes, it is, Josh. Yes, it is. The only one left that is.
Chris Keller comments, Dave has subs under his bunk on the 379 now, right? How did you know?
Yeah. That's what I should get, is a big stereo for the truck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little late probably, but man, I had a big stereo in one of the trucks, and the amp got wet and fried, and that was the end of my big stereo.
Grilled Mortal, ever get a diesel bath at a fuel island when the pump didn't shut off?
Yes. Yes, I have, and you know what? The last one wasn't that long ago either. It was just up here at the Shell. Yes, I have. Didn't get me badly, but it wrecked a pair of boots anyway. But I think that happens to everybody.
Somebody commented, my uncle drank a gallon of varnish. He had a horrible death, but a lovely finish.
That's pretty clever. Who wrote that? That's pretty funny. Oh, there it is.
Trey Harper, thank you very much for the $10 donation. Hope you're really enjoying the stream this evening, and we'll hope you'll stick around to the end. Dave, I'm not sure if this is directed towards me or you, but he'd like to point out the fact that we seem much more like a Skrillex/dubstep kind of family. So,
I know what dubstep is.
do you know what dubstep is? I'm not sure whether or not to be proud about that. I'm sure you've gotten that through me, and I regret teaching you that. So.
No, I got that off YouTube.
Oh, good. I'm glad you found that section already. Once again, thank you very much, Trey.
Yeah, thanks, Trey. Appreciate it.
Imran Hateen, do you think you can make a video of how to do a proper circle or a pre-trip inspection? I have been after him, just so you know, for years to do a video about pre-trip.
Yes, we can do a pre-trip video, and Kathy's going to point out the parts as I talk about them. We've already planned to do it. We just have to get to it. But yes, we will be doing one of those.
There's actually a fairly detailed article on the website on the pre-trip, on the circle check.
How did I get into trucking? That's from Woof. I started shunting trailers in a trailer yard and started driving them around the yard before I was old enough to do so. And I just kind of liked it and got into it because it was easier than working in the warehouse, which was what I was supposed to be doing. And I just liked it and just went from there. But I started life shunting trailers before I was 16.
We have a suggestion actually from Chris Keller to do a stream on the pre-trip so people can ask questions. That's a really good idea.
That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. Jeez. Are we going to be able to get the equipment out to the truck all right? Well, that'll be a technological.
I don't think he meant out there. I just
challenge for Nick. But yeah, that's something to try.
I have a hard time backing into a dock when there is not enough headroom. Can you give me some pointers on that?
How do you mean headroom?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure about that one. Someone has asked about how you start a reefer that is an 80s style reefer. He said he can't find any videos on YouTube on how to start the bloody thing, but we would certainly know that.
That's a good question. The reefers of that era had a 2-position start switch, and you had to initiate the glow plug. So you would hold it in the down position. Most of them you'd hold it in the down position, or they had a separate switch for the glow plug. So you'd have to let the glow plug heat up for 30 seconds or a minute, depending on how cold the unit was, and then push it towards start, and you would hear the starter engage. But you had to warm up the glow plug first. The new ones still do that. It's just when you flick the start switch, that's why there's a pause before it fires, because it's automatically heating up the glow switch, the glow plug.
Eric Cummings, just to answer your question real quick, if you stop by our website, there will be a contact me option on the page in which you can just send us your email directly, and once we have that, we'll get in contact with you through that email. And who else did I miss here? G Friday, thank you very much for the $2 donation. Hope you're enjoying the stream this evening. He wants to know your opinion on Western Stars, Dave.
One of the nicest trucks I ever drove was a Western Star. The interior was beautiful. We picked it, back then the factory was in Kelowna, BC. We picked it up right from the factory. The cab was small and narrow, but it was like a hand-built truck. It was really a beautiful truck. I really liked it. These days, I think Western Star still makes a really good truck. My understanding these days is that they're still heavy. They're mostly steel construction, and the one I had back, in 79 or whatever that was, it was that way too. So they were heavy, so they were a bit of an issue if you needed to be light, like for flatbed work or reefer work. But yeah, really a nice truck. And I don't even know where the new ones are built anymore, or who owns Western Star anymore. But yeah, they're a good truck. I like Western Stars. A little heavy, but a nice truck. What are your thoughts on 24.5 rubber versus 22.5 low pro? Chris Keller. Chris, I still run the 24.5s on my truck for a couple of reasons, and it's basically for ground clearance, because more air gets underneath the truck, so everything runs a little cooler when you're down in Arizona or something like that. You miss running over the alligators from the tires that blow, and people just leave on the side of the highway. Generally, you're up high enough that they don't clean out your oil pan, or in the old days, your crossover lines back then. But I still like the big rubber. I find the longer revolution gives me more speed. The low pro 24.5s, they look cool in the parking lot, but I don't like the lack of clearance going down the highway, and you scrape your bumper every time you hit a pothole. I should tell the Lettuce King story about taking off his oil pan. But no, I like a little ground clearance on my truck. And the 24.5s last longer. They do less revolutions, so you get more life out of them.
Okay, time for our final trivia question of the evening. Also for a prize, also for one of the lovely glove dryers. And the question is, drum roll, what year was the Peterbilt 359 discontinued? What year was the last build of the Pete 359? Whoa, Michael S.
Michael S. gets it. 87 it was.
Right on.
The Lettuce King is a big fan of the 359. Back then, I I preferred Kenworth products to the 359, but they were cool looking trucks, but they broke down a lot. I didn't think they had the quality of build the Kenworths did back then, but still a classic favorite, the 359. They had what they called air track suspension too. It was rough. It was rough. They graduated to low air leaf later, and the 379s much smoother suspension.
So, Michael S., congratulations on your prize this evening. I'm sure you've already heard it 4 other times by now, but just in case you haven't, make sure you leave us your email on our website through the Contact Us option, and send us an email through there, and we will get back to you as quickly as we can so we can send you your 12-volt glove dryer.
Keep going. Shannon, thank you.
Shannon. Good to hear from you, Shannon. Are you taking off on us? But yeah, good to see you just show up for the live stream. We appreciate it.
Jonathan Mestral, thank you once again for the $5 donations. I feel like the majority of which I read is your donations. Let's get the Lettuce King on a live stream off screen.
Oh, that would be X-rated.
We've been meaning to go down there and see the new ride, but he keeps putting us off because now he's bought a trailer to match, and he wants to have the trailer finished with his custom touches before he lets us come down, because he wants to see the whole unit all together. So I can kind of get that, but man, I'm getting impatient. So Cal Sandman remembers the story about the woman in Wyoming. So do I. Man, he still turns red when you remind him of that. Oh, man. Something else, boy. I never had a dull trip when I had the Lettuce King tagging along with me. Mr. L, just wanted to reach out quickly and say hello and that I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. L. Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care. Do I like the new 579s? If I was going to buy a new Pete, I'd buy a new 389. I like the 579s okay, but there's a lot of plastic inside those. They're okay. Not my first choice. I'm not that thrilled with the Kenworth 990 either. I'd take the 900. Can I exchange a UK CDL Class A for a Canadian CDL, or do I have to be a learner again? No, Rory. I believe that's just an exchange process. I don't think you have to go through any more testing. Now I could be wrong about that, and maybe they've changed that, but no, I don't believe so. I believe your license is recognized here from the UK. They're asking me to tell the Lettuce King Wyoming story again. Do I have time for that, or should I tell that, or? I don't know, 5 minutes. Too long? I'll tell it another time again, but it's a good story. Next stream, yeah. Remind me next stream. I'll take the time. I'll have the time, and we'll tell the whole story again.
All right, we'll be taking a couple more questions this evening, and then we're going to wrap it up for the night. So, Dave, at your leisure there, pick a few questions to
New owner
finalize.
operator, tanker or flatbed, experience, what would be a good business move? And is there a recommended carrier? Good question. My impression is, not having done a lot of flatbed, but a fair bit of tanker work, my impression is that flatbed can be pretty up and down and pretty seasonal, whereas I know the tankers have good steady work year round. I'd go the tanker route, and again, because it's steady, good paying work. So probably a better business move, which is always my major consideration. Is there a recommended carrier? I don't know whether Dupree Logistics takes owner-operators, but I'd certainly be interested in them as a carrier. And they're out of Louisiana, I believe. They're based out of Louisiana. I read nothing but good things about them. As I say, I'm not sure if they have owner-operators or not, but I'd check out Dupree Logistics. What are my thoughts on the 15-speed? Chris, great transmission. I had them for years. Bulletproof. Really like them. They say now that everybody wants the advantage of splitters, like with the 13 and the 18. And I have, on this truck here, I have an 18 myself. And I like them, but the 15 was a good tried and true transmission. I had the 15 directs and the 15 overs. And the double overs back in the day, and that was my preferred transmission until the 18 speeds came out. But yeah, great transmission, bulletproof tranny.
Terry J has a question. How much does a lettuce load pay from Cali to the Ontario Food Terminal?
Well,
it varies, actually. Probably this season would be pretty much over by now.
Yeah, it all depends on the year, really. Sometimes it's incredible, but usually you can get like April, May are probably the peak months for lettuce out of there. And if you're talking with the exchange from American into Canadian dollars, it can be darn serious money.
Back in the 90s, in the early to mid 90s, it could peak in the spring from Yuma or Salinas to the Ontario Food Terminal with exchange in Canadian dollars upwards of $20,000 a load. When fuel was how much?
Less than $1 a gallon.
Less than $1 a gallon. I don't know what it's doing now. Thoughts on automated 18-wheelers?
By automated, you mean driverless? Because I don't think you'll see that in our lifetime, and I'm not for them because they don't have any intuition, and it takes anticipation and intuition to drive a truck really well. You've got to anticipate problems before they happen, and machines can't do that. So I don't have much hope for them, frankly. MR Conville. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you and your family's dedication to trucking. Well, thank you for saying so. I need some advice. I'm a pickup and delivery driver here in Chicago, between $22 and $30 per hour by my house. I have UPS, Old Dominion, FedEx. Which company should I work for? Thanks. That's a good question. Boy, I don't think you could go wrong with any of those three. They're all good options. All good options. I'd put FedEx as my last choice. And I'd have a tough time between Old Dominion and UPS. UPS maybe first, Old Dominion second, and FedEx third. But, it depends on your situation, where the terminals are, what kind of a boss you end up with at the end of the day. All good carriers, though. Oh, sorry, you meant automatic transmission being possibly mandatory by the DOT. Jason, you know what? I think it's going to be the way of the future. I don't think there's going to be any choice. I think automatic transmissions are going to make the other ones obsolete. I'm not a great fan of them because I find that they tend to push you down a slippery hill sometimes because they stay in gear when you'd shove in the clutch. But I think they're here to stay, sadly. But, I certainly understand that they're far easier to drive, that for new guys, you don't have to concentrate on what gear you're in. You can concentrate more on looking at the windshield and focusing on all the other issues you've got to deal with. So I think they're probably a good thing, but wouldn't be my choice. Wouldn't be. They're expensive to fix too, and that's always one of my considerations, a repair cost when you own the truck. But I'm old school. Don't want an automatic Sandman, SoCal Sandman. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm old school. I don't care for them either.
All right, Dave, we'll take one more this evening, and that'll be it for that.
Looking for another question here.
I believe retrofitting a manual to be an automatic is a disaster.
Huh? Yeah, that could well be. Yeah, the automatics are the way of the future because the carriers hire new guys all the time. There are very few experienced guys available for hire anymore. The guys that have the experience already have the trucking company that they want to be in, and they're staying there. They're not moving. So it's for the new guys, really. But yeah, I think they're here to stay.
Derek Smith, one last quick question. What do you think of TMC?
TMC is a good outfit. Fine equipment, well trained, good program. I think they're a good carrier. If you're thinking about going there, Derek, they've got my recommendation. I've heard nothing but good things about them.
Okay.
All right, everyone. So that was our monthly Q&A. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this evening. A couple thank yous I want to give out. First of all, to our great sponsors from Black Shield, for those of you who received one of those this evening. I really hope you liked the product. I've reviewed it myself, and it seems like a really good product. So we hope you enjoy those. A special thank you goes out to Gary from Backshield, and it's backshield.com if you want to check out the product for yourselves. And another thank you goes out to from Never Limited Products, Carrie. A special thank you. They donated the glove dryers that 3 winners got this evening, so a special thank you to Carrie. A couple thank yous go out to our donators this evening. Let's see here: Jordan, Jonathan, Michael, G. Smith, Alexandra, Trey, G. Friday, and finally a special great thank you goes to everyone who was here this evening, you, the viewers. Thank you guys so much for coming out. And how is it you say, Dave? Chewing the fat? Which is it?
Yeah, chewing the fat. That's right.
And don't be sure not to miss Friday's upload. And Friday's upload is going to be on
CB Radios.
So be sure not to miss that upload. All right, Dave, I will let you wrap it up from here.
Thank you guys for all dropping in. Don't forget we've got t-shirts for sale. Don't forget to check out our website. You guys take care. Keep the rubber side down. Stay safe. We'll see you on the back haul. Good night, everybody.